There aren't very many albums where you get this sort of diversity of artists working on the same thing and from the same materials. It's a really unique project where the bed for the music is all pulled from real-world sounds.
The first step of the project was to send a group of engineers out throughout the state of Michigan to capture sounds, essentially, capture nature at the source. And then bring those raw sounds back to Assemble Sound, where we've been working with the producers and engineers on the project and working on kind of crafting these ambient tracks.
When we were first contacted about working on the Pure Sounds project and the idea of creating an ambient album based on field recordings from the state parks, the first person I really thought about was Blair French, who I never worked with prior to this, but have always been a big fan of his ambient work.
The whole experience of the trip was like an everything bagel. That's all I can tell the people. They're like, oh, how was it? It's like, it was everything. Like, we had so many cool sounds and so many different sounds. It was almost hard to start because there were so many possibilities, so big and open.
We're out here taking some field recordings of the state parks, the lakes, the waves, crashing up against the rocks, just crashing up against the shore.
Then we're gonna take it back to the studio and divvy out each state park to 10 artists in total.
In general, I was just looking for artists who I thought would be excited about the prospect of working with natural field recordings. Artists who I thought could make ambient soundscapes, and artists who have a deep connection to Michigan.
We've got just a really vast variety of artists. All of them are very different, which has been really cool. We've got instrumentalists, we have classical artists.
I think of the harp as kind of like raindrops, so I associate the harp with water, just like the flute with the wind. And I think it will add this kind of surreal, natural sound to it because it just blends like a waterfall.
We have electronic artists.
For my composition, I wanted to not use any outside sounds. So all of the sounds in my piece have been either sampled or manipulated or synthesized through the original recordings.
We've got people who are well-versed in the hip-hop genre as well.
My approach to creating this composition had a lot to do with the fact that when I listened to the sound bites, the water struck me immediately.
Michigan has this reminiscent feeling for me, especially with the water. You're surrounded by so much water. Even the time signature, I'm listening to how many times the waves are actually coming back through the audio, and I'm creating based off of that time signature. So it's very much interlinked with the music that you're hearing is what you're also reflecting as you're listening to how Michigan is sounding.
I heard the water, and the first thing I thought about was incorporating a bass flute into it, because I had been working with my partner, Raphael Staten, who plays the woodwinds, and he just kind of came upon this bass flute that just has a really warm, whole sound.
I think that if someone weren't from the state of Michigan and they were to hear this album, it would kind of encourage them to want to experience the beauty that they're hearing on the album.
Makes me want to travel and explore more parts of the state that I'm not as familiar with.
Good sound can take you somewhere, can put you in a different place, stir some kind of emotion or some kind of feeling.
Just like Zen, the same moments I'm sure most people have when they just
sit by a creek and stare at water and just go to that place.
So yeah, world-class ambient project, Pure Sounds of Michigan.